Hello, and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hi, hello, my lovelies, my royalty. How are you doing? Well, you know the drill. Let's grab some petty tea. Boiling hot or freezing cold, let's dig in. And of course, I'm going to be talking about this topic quite a lot because it relates kind of to dating, but just gender, political, all of the messy things going on right now. But yeah, especially when it comes to being a ladylike and a woman, some of these men, they got me twisted. They got me messed up. It's like, to you ladies and men, like, define what a woman is, who a woman is. Because I think maybe I'm going to start a series on that. Because a lot of men got me twisted. Seasonal depression hits hard. Trust me, I know. So it's like, yeah, I figured out some ways to help me through it, but then it still triggers or whatever. So stay healthy, take your vitamins, do what you got to do, but talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor because, yeah, I'm not a health professional. I've learned a lot of what not to do and say, and or I've learned how to be a pain in the tush to my health professionals, quote unquote health professionals, because they were too busy saying I was a liar. Look who's lying now. Yeah, a lot of them. Oh, but yeah, it's really interesting. I've said this like months ago, but a lot of my previous doctors, they're leaving my health system. I wonder what was like. Yeah, I'm looking for like that. It's on my list to try because I want to sue them, but then it's like when you have a disability, there's already so much to do. Trying to start a business, so much to do. Trying to finally finish, like, well, first it was one novel, now it's turned to three novels. So much to do, but I'm gonna be talking more about it on the Handicapable Black Nerd channel, so stay tuned. But yeah, so much, and they deserve to get sued after everything they've put me through. They try to spin everything on me and blame me. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's over 600 episodes where I talk disability life and then being a black woman, being a woman and being black, because yeah, sometimes them separate, sometimes combined, and then sometimes the whole trio of being black, a woman and with a disability. And it's to the point where a lot of the privileged, able-bodied, straight white men don't understand the hardships that I go through compared to them, and they don't understand their privilege, but instead they think they are being punished just because black women, and especially black women with a disability, can compete with them, because we have the now that over the years the laws have changed to allow me to gain the same education as them and the same experience as them, but they think I am stealing their opportunity. It's like they don't understand my people used not to be able to do what they can. But now that I can, we're on an even playing field. And lo and behold, yeah, I'm a nerd. I love learning and stuff like that. So when I go up for interviews and they're all of a sudden they're saying I'm the most qualified, but yeah, they still don't want to hire me. But then they don't want DEI because they want to be able to hold my disability, hold my race and gender against me. But I talk about that in so many episodes, and I'm going to talk about it so much more because that helps me with today's topic. Because again, the white, able bodied, straight man privilege. How come only you guys think that you could talk politics? Really, it's all men, but especially the colonizing white men. I need to turn that into a paint color or a Crayola color. Colonizing white and then underground railroad white. Maybe you guys can let me know, like, because each color on the color scale thing, whenever you get to pick the color of like a background of a website or anything, it's like the each color has like a number code or whatever. So yeah, maybe you guys can put the number code for the color of the white in the in the messages, because I'm like, yeah, which color would be it? Or would they literally be the same color but with different names? Because you kind of can never tell. And some are going to pretend that they're Underground Railroad while stabbing you in the back and everything like that and trying to hurt you and deceive you, but then saying, no, but I'm helping you. Oh, no, why would I do that? Yeah. But okay, a lot of them, when it comes to politics, they have the nerve to tell me, it's not ladylike to talk politics. Oh, well, you're black. You guys complain about everything. You guys always want to bring up race and racism. Racism doesn't have to do with everything when it does. Okay, that's the part that some of these idiots, especially MAGA Republicans and awful, terrible, despicable, poorly educated people, the ignorant, yeah, they don't understand. Racism has everything to do in America. How was this country created and started? Based off of racism. They started off with the Native Americans. See, because they don't want, but then they want credit for taking this country, but they don't want credit for taking this country. Because sometimes I see posts about, and some from the Native American community talking about the hardships and all of the tough things that their ancestors had to go through, and how they have to go through the turmoil and the consequences of the actions of these colonizing people or whatever. But then a lot of these colonizing people are just like, oh no, we didn't steal your land. We conquered it. No, it's like, we got it fairly. We did this. But then when the Hispanic community is like, they come over, oh no, you're illegal. You're illegal. Like, don't come over here, even though parts of this country was Mexico. Parts of this country was their land. But they're going to say they conquered that too. But yeah, they mean stole, but yeah. And then thou shalt not steal, because that's another thing. Like, they say they're such a Christian people and their ancestors, this country was started on Christian values. They stole the land. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not steal. Yeah. Oh, and thou shalt not bang bang eliminate people. But what did they do with the Native Americans? How many of the Ten Commandments did they break in order to get this land? That would be a really entertaining sermon right there. Because they literally slaughtered buffalo to make sure Native Americans didn't have like the fur for clothing and the meat for eating. They literally went to their tribes and just eliminated as many as they could to, lower the population so that they could, to allow them the power to take over. And racism is based off of power. And who has, not had, has. Because, yeah, they had the power in a different way back then, but they still have the power today. Where everything based off of financial, everything was being the main character, everything was being the beauty, is based off of the colonizers. So it's just, I don't, but then it's crazy because the colonizers tell me that I'm not supposed to, I'm not allowed to talk about politics, either because I'm black and they say, well, no, you always want to bring up race with that. You're not allowed to do that. You shouldn't do that. And oh, dating. Oh, these men. Like, because I asked them, it's like, there was this one guy I would never forget. Like, and the thing is, like, okay, some of you guys, like, if you're gonna have the nerve to try to tell a woman what she is allowed and not allowed to do, at least have yourself together. Or at least be so hot, or be so smart, or have so much money that it can be impressive, or it can be something to be like, well, maybe he knows what he's talking about. But no, no, those are not the men telling me that I have no business. It's like, and I'm still going to talk about politics, but part of me just feels like, if you're going to tell me I'm not allowed or I'm not supposed to, at least have yourself together in one of those ways. At least, I mean, hopefully all the ways, but at least one of them. I'm getting my life together, so I know how it is. I know how it feels, especially within this economy under this presidential. Yeah, that's my, anyway. But I don't know. It's just really interesting because a lot of the times they tell me I am not allowed to talk about politics, but then the stupid things that come out of their mouths, a lot of them still think there was an underground tunnel with the pizza like place where they were getting like gaining kids or dragging kids and stuff. I'm like, what? And then even with DEI, like some of them hate that I have my education so much that they were like, DEI is the only reason where you're at. Didn't you go to college but you dropped out? Well, that's different. That doesn't matter. Like, no, no, it does matter. I got accepted in and I finished. You got in, you dropped out. You quit. So don't put that on me. Don't put that on me. And I just think it's really interesting because do you know how many of the colonizing men have tried to put me down? And then, I mean, especially men, period, they hate my education, which is why now with my dating standards, I have it as a standard. You gotta have some education too, because I will never be with a man who's going to downgrade my education. I want him to know the dedication and the hard work. And also, yes, and I know there are some jerks like CK that are going to tell me that I should have just went to college for that Mrs. degree. I'm not dating them either, but it's like having the education is at least a good start and a good filter. And because remember, I also say that you cannot be MAGA, you cannot be Republican, you cannot be on the right. So yes, I took care of that too. Because a lot of the Democrat men, a lot, not all, understand and they want some of them they want a woman to be able to live her life and not just feel like ownership of a man, because a lot of these Republicans, they're really showing themselves. They're really showing how much they want to own women and how they think of us as property. And yet, Democrat, like, okay, with Republicans, it's kind of like a woman is 90% property, 10% human. And with Democrat men, it's more like maybe 10, 20% property. Well, I mean, the way they try to use us, yeah. And it's really funny because on topic but off topic, it's really crazy when men on dating apps tell me that I will be good for nothing if I don't sleep with them immediately. But then if they tell some of them even admit if I sleep with them immediately, they're just going to go after the next thing. They're going to try to use me up and move on to the next one. And it's like, and yesterday I was at a meeting with somebody, but after the meeting, we were chit-chatting and talking whatever, and I brought up that I was now, dating somebody and excited and everything, and he asked me some interesting questions. But then he told me, "You have to be one of those good girls. You have to wait a while. Make him wait. Wait until he has gets mad at you. Then maybe give it up. See how long he lasts until he gets mad at you. But yeah, don't be one of those women who give it up too easy because you're never going to see him get mad at you." And I don't know, that was just, part of me was just like, what? And he was like, men only really get mad at a woman if she's not supplying those needs. Gentlemen, let me know, is this, because I mean, one of the common reasons that I see men getting divorced on divorce court is because of that. And but then a lot of men want to blame that they cheated on their wives because of that. But at the same time, the way that they treat those women, I wouldn't want to sleep with them. Like, and that's a funny thing. Like, a lot of men think they're obligated. A lot of men think that the woman has to, but then they don't have to do anything to deserve it. They want to make love without giving love. They want to make love without actually feeling love. Because yeah, a lot of the men, they don't feel anything. They don't care. They just want that that final ending, if you know what I mean. But is it right? Is it fair? Like, they want to treat women like garbage, but at the same time, they want to tell women, you have to stay pure. If you have a large body count, no man's gonna ever want you. We're not gonna desire you. You're not gonna be needed. You're just gonna be some leftover and blah 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 whatever. But then when you ask their body count, it doesn't matter. I can have as high of a body count as I want. I'm a man. They think the same with politics. They can have all of the opinions and all of the, like, just the verbiage of nonsense, in my opinion, about politics, because especially when it comes to the colonizing men out there, you know who I'm talking about. But I have to say, be careful, because I think a lot of the people of color men, the males that are people of color, I think a lot of them learned from this election, because a lot of them was like, as long as I'm not black, I'm good. As long as I'm not black, I'm better. As long as I play the colonizing card, I will be accepted. I will be great and okay. But now who has to have their papers on them? Who has to have their papers? And trust me, I hate that. But remember, they don't want to teach our history. Remember, they don't want you to know that we're repeating history. Remember the days with the green books, where African Americans had to literally have books in order to know the safe cities, in order to know the safe roads, the gas stations, stores, and everything that they can travel to, so that they can get to one place to another. Literally called the Green Book. They don't teach that in class, do they? Especially not the colonizing classes. But what point are we at now? I'm hearing that people are actually making websites for that, safe areas for people to be able to travel. Do you know how pathetic and sad that is, that we are going back in time to that point? And that black people, 92% of the black women, 85% of the black men. Yes, I'll include you this time, black men. We tried telling you, but now it was to a point where now you guys say you wanted our help. Now you guys say you need our leadership. Now you need our protection. Now you need us to have your back, when we had your back at the ballot box. And we kept telling you, but you kept telling us, oh, you're just complaining. Oh, you just want to talk about racism. Oh, both parties are the same. Are they the same now? Don't include those, I think, 6 or 7 Democrat idiots who voted for more ICE. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about them. But as a whole population, we are disgusted about, like, okay, as a Democrat political, like, yeah, we're not the same, because a lot of us, we're disgusted. Because it's kind of really interesting, because when it comes to healthcare and health studies, it was already hard enough to be able to get scientific research focused on women and black women, people of color. But then also people with disabilities. It's like there's so many cures that we need to work on and help. And a lot of the community, especially MAGA, want to blame certain people based off of how they were born or the things that have happened in their life, that because not all people were born with a disability. So I want to include those who were not, but something tragic might have happened or whatever. And it's just really sad where they want to follow and they want to praise and uplift somebody who tells you not to have any empathy. I believe empathy is rooted from love, which I'm going to be doing more episodes on love, the definition, the meaning, the usage, and who and who doesn't deserve your authentic or different portrayals of love and the levels of love and things like that. But I don't know. It's just, we have, when people say that both parties are the same, and you literally have one party who says that, you know, empathy is weakness and stuff. And at the same time, they let that Rittenhouse guy walk around with a loaded weapon, eliminating people, and then you know, he gets let go of all the charges, or at the trial, they say not get. Oh, anyway, anyway. And while the judge is literally playing the theme song from the Orange Man's whole presidential thing or whatever, just showing, they were just showing themselves. But now you have ICE going around doing whatever they want, dehumanizing whoever they want, dragging people out of their homes. And now the Orange Man is trying to say it's legal for them to just come into our homes without a signed warrant, which is against the federal, like, mm-hmm. Yeah. But okay, real quick, back with the studies though, because it's like, I don't know, there's so much to it. But it's like a lot of the colonizing men want to control what's being studied in this country. But then they want to hate on women who need to have, God forbid, an abortion. Sometimes it's to stay alive. And then they're Republican women. At first they're like, yeah, pro-life, you guys are hateful, awful. But then they need one to stay alive. And all of a sudden they realize, oh, yeah, oops. But then they want to blame Democrats at the end of the day. It's really funny how many of the Republican women who then after voting with their bigoted, awful, terrible men. I'm not saying all Republican men. I'm not saying all. But if that hurt, that means I am talking about you. If that pinched at all. But then after these ladies voted with you, and then they got pregnant and things, then they had some kind of health issue. They realize, yeah, you're a woman too. These laws that you're voting for, yeah, they count for you too. Doctors are going to be too scared to touch you because they want to keep their doctor's license. They don't want to go to prison over you. You asked for this. You got what you asked for. But like, if you're going to vote for that, refuse the fact that now they had to cancel so many studies. And that's the fun. Oh my gosh. They had to cancel so many studies that had women or black or any specific type of demographic. But most of the scientific studies that don't include those are for the colonizing men, the able-bodied the able-bodied men. And when it comes to childbirth, 3 times as many black women pass away from childbirth. But those aren't the lives they care about. They say all lives matter, but they don't mean it. They say all lives matter, but they don't mean it. To a lot of them, all able-bodied straight white men lives matter. Unless they're Democrats. Unless they're Democrat. And the Second Amendment, it doesn't count for Democrats. They say that you're not being a peaceful and like nice person, blah blah blah, if you carry a weapon to a protest. But then they don't look at what they've done for so many years. And again, that Rittenhouse guy. It's like they're so quick to talk, they're so quick to contradict themselves that they don't sit down and pay attention to what they are saying. It's like it's okay for thee for that, but you know, it's okay for Republicans, but not for Democrats. The laws are only to oblige us. Only we can benefit from all of this. You guys need to suffer. When we text you or email you or message you awful, terrible, like dehumanizing hatred messages, then you're supposed to take it. But then once it got back to Marjorie Taylor Greene, oh, she couldn't take it. Poor little baby couldn't take it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe these people are being so like, what? Shut up. It's like when you followed that, like the school, like shooting victim and harassed him, the things you said about AOC and all the squad, how hateful and awful and terrible and dehumanizing you are, but now you want to whine and cry because it's happening to you. They only care when it's happening to them. And see, it's like a lot of these colonizing men, hardly any of the stuff is affecting them. They don't understand their privilege while they're enjoying their privilege, while they are enjoying the fact that they never have to show anybody their papers. While in history books, they are the good guys in the Americanized history books. And it's like they can tear it down about slavery and about African American history because it's not going to affect them. Because they're just going to reword it, or they're just going to listen to things that make them sound like the hero, that makes them sound like slavery wasn't a bad thing, it was in the Bible. Because, yeah, they don't want women to talk about politics. They say it's not ladylike. Is it not ladylike, or you don't want to be proven wrong? Is it not ladylike, or is it going to show the darkness within our past? I mean, like what? Is it not ladylike? Or it's going to prove how awful the patriarchy is? It's like, well, because a lot of the ways these men are, now a lot more men are starting to go to church now because the Bible is the patriarchy and the government's the patriarchy. It's like a lot of these colonizing women, they want to know why a lot of us black women don't trust them, but they don't realize how they helped this cycle continue. They don't understand. Many of them will never understand. They're still going to blame black women. And they're going to say, well, black women, you just need to sit down and talk to us. You need to explain it to us. We need to come together. No, how many times have we tried to come together and then at the end of the day, you try to stab us in the back? And or you try to blame us or say, well, you guys are just lazy, or you have to like get yourselves together, and the bootstraps and all that other crap, all that other garbage. Reparations, you don't need reparations. We don't get reparations when your ancestors did. Some of your family, but then some of you guys say that black people need to learn how to manage money when a lot of your family, a lot of your ancestors had reparations. Okay. And it's really funny because the capitalization of this country and a lot of these large companies, including Chase Bank, got some of their money from, yeah, slavery. They benefited from slavery. So then you really need to look at a lot of these billionaires, millionaires, and billionaires to figure what happened. But thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman. I am of color, and I am handy capable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too.